Okay, hello everyone. Thank you for joining this week's Vendasta webinar. We are live from the Vendasta headquarters in Saskatoon, Saskatchewan, where we've finally gotten a bit of a break from the minus 40-degree weather. It's Thursday, January 23rd, and today we're learning all about SurviveCyber risk protection. My name is Erica Polishchuk. I'm the brand new product marketing intern here at Vendasta, and joining me today from SurviveCyber is Greg Osinoff, Chief Strategy Officer, and Jeff Palumbo, Chief Technology Officer. Hi, Greg and Jeff. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thanks for having us.
Perfect. So just a reminder, before we begin, we will be answering questions towards the end of the webinar. If you have a question, just type it in the chat box, and if we don't get to them today, we will follow up with you shortly after the webinar. But we're looking forward to hearing all about SurviveCyber, so I'll hand the presentation over to Greg.
Very good. Well, thank you, everybody. Good afternoon from sunny Florida. My name is Greg Osinoff. We're really excited about presenting our cybersecurity protection platform to you all. We're excited to be one of the first cybersecurity products being introduced through the Vendasta network, and hopefully you'll see the power of the solution and how it might impact both your end clients and your bottom line. So what are we? SurviveCyber is specifically designed for small businesses here in the United States, and we are one of the first companies that has spent a lot of time focusing on helping companies survive after a cybersecurity incident. So we do provide proactive, protective services to our customers, but have really spent a lot of time thinking about ways to make sure that after a cyber event has happened, a company can survive and continue to do business. Some of the biggest challenges that we had to overcome, since we are focused really on the SMB, the small and mid-sized market, is that our offering had to be priced at a place that is affordable and realistic to organizations that are stretched and do not have a lot of discretionary revenue to put to these problems. In addition, we also recognize that small and mid-sized businesses often do not have a lot of IT sophistication. So the system that we created was specifically designed to be easy to understand, easy to navigate, and easy to take the benefits that we have provided in the system and put it to work. One of the areas that I think is worth noting here is that the stakes are really, really high for small businesses. Last year, they estimated that over 70% of all cyber attacks went against small businesses. And if you think about it, it makes sense for the reasons that I just articulated. They tend to not be as sophisticated and therefore do not have the defenses that a larger organization has. But the other stat is maybe even more concerning, and that is the fact that they found that 60% of small businesses that will be a victim of a significant cyber incident will go out of business within 6 months. So if you think a little bit about your customer base, right, these are people that are faced with a tremendous threat, often don't know that they're faced with that threat, and don't understand the severity of the risks involved. So our solution is sold directly through channels and affiliates. It's ideal tool to enhance existing offerings, or as a standalone SKU, its own product offering, which can develop new revenue streams as well. And as I described, it's very easy to articulate and sell the value proposition, and probably more importantly, it takes all of 5 minutes for a customer to sign up. So what exactly do we do? I want to read you the top part because I think it's a good way of describing it, but then I'm going to describe the value proposition. So what we are is an affordable cyber protection package that's specifically designed to provide peace of mind to small and mid-sized businesses by improving both their awareness of the threats and maybe most importantly, to shield them from the legal and financial liability associated with a cyber attack. So how do we go about doing what we do? In 2015, the U.S. Congress passed a law called the Cyber Information Sharing Act. It's also known as CISA, C-I-S-A. And what CISA was designed to do was to encourage any company doing business in the United States to share threat data both with other companies and also with the U.S. government. It was this concept known as collective intelligence. And think about it, right? If you see something strange or threatening on your network and you share that threat with me, I will be in a better position to protect myself, right? But this law is completely voluntary. And so since it was voluntary, they needed to write into the law some really interesting incentives for people to participate in CISA. And what they did was they said that if in fact you are compliant with this law, we will provide you with legal protections post-breach. Because inevitably when a company is hacked, you have third-party liability, right? Customers might sue you, third-party partners and vendors might sue you, even the government may investigate you. So by being compliant with this law, which our tool helps you become, you now can go to a court or to an investigation within the government and actually throw these cases out of the court through these legal protections. But in addition to just the legal protections and compliance with this law, what we've done is we've also married the product with $100,000 of cyber insurance, so that if in fact a member is compromised at any time while a member of SurviveCyber, they can activate $100,000 of cyber insurance policy to do everything from to figure out the root causes, remediate the IT issues, hire lawyers and other professionals that inevitably will support the investigation and the post-breach exercise, and pay any fines that are required. And then finally, we've provided a resource, which we'll show you a little bit today, just to give you a flavor. We've created a members library that is content-rich, with everything from curated news about cybersecurity as it relates to small businesses, to training videos for employees to make them more cyber aware, to risk management tools and questionnaires so that you can get a better sense of where your company is in terms of its readiness and where you need to focus on improvements, and other types of resources, and access to a panel of pre-qualified vendors that can help you in the crisis. So just to get a sense of who we are, we have put an awful lot of time in building this solution, and we have been recognized as, both for the last 2 years, as a Hall of Fame award winner for some of the most innovative and top information sharing organizations in the country. So who you are aligning yourself with is a serious organization that has put a lot of time into figuring out how to deliver high class, high standards to our community, but at price points that are affordable and make sense. And just to give you a sense, we are partnered with both the U.S. government resources as well as private entity resources in order to be able to deliver these services to our members' community. So this chart shows you where we stand in terms of the value that we are providing to our customers for really an amazing price point. We'll talk a little bit more about pricing as we go through the presentation, but our retail price to a customer is $39.95. This is a month-to-month contract. At any time, if they are not happy with the offering, they can cancel, but what we have found is it's very sticky. Most of our customers, once they sign on, they stay on just for the legal protections and the financial protections that are associated with the product. But what you can see here in this channel is really the wealth of services and solutions that we're providing under, really an extraordinary price. Everything from threat alerts so that you know what you need to be worried about on a week-to-week or a daily basis, an information sharing organization that allows you to share information and become compliant with the law, which provides legal protections, the embedded cybersecurity insurance, a resource center, and all at an affordable rate. No other organization is providing this kind of value at this kind of price point. If you were to join, for instance, the financial sector's ISAO, which is an information sharing organization, not only do they not have a system that's automated in their platform to prove that you are compliant with the law to get the legal protections, but the cost is starting at $15,000 a year. So you get a sense of what we're offering at the price points. So we focus on small to mid-sized business. The sweet spot for this product from our perspective is 250 employees or less, but a lot of our customers are smaller. They could be a 20-person architectural firm. They could be a 10-person barbershop. They can be a small CPA firm and the like. That's the sweet spot. That's the area that we've seen the most success. And we've got a client base that has really appreciated the value proposition that we have delivered to them. Okay, so let's talk about first how we go to market. As I said, we sell through partnerships and affiliate networks. What we have found is that organizations will either offer this as a direct standalone product designed to offer value on its own and generate a new revenue stream, or to embed it into products that they already have. So for instance, we have a customer who provides IT-related services, and they embed our product in so that they can extend their value proposition to add the things that we have been talking about here today. Okay, so right now I'd like to just show you a quick little demo so you can visualize. Hang on one second, just the product itself. So here we are all in the membership portal. You sign in with your unique ID. Everything you do in this has an anonymized account number so that your privacy is protected. And it's very simple, right? You have all sorts of threat alerts that come to you, both push to you by email, but also a library where you can look at the information at your leisure. And this is an area where you can do research and you can understand what the liabilities look like. We also create once a month a curated newsletter that will provide you with highlights of the month. In addition to that, we provide you with a wealth of information through our partnership with our insurance providers that provide everything from security training videos to learning centers to questionnaires. So I brought up here as an example, here is an interactive where a small business can walk through an interactive questionnaire, and what comes out the other side is a scorecard. We have these for all different kinds of subjects, and what this will do is help companies understand where they're strong in security and where they also need help and where they need to focus on it. So in this portal, you have the ability to submit to the federal government or to us as an information sharing organization your threat information. All of this information is anonymous, and everything that you do in the system is getting a unique tracking code so that if a year from now you realize that your network has been compromised, we can come back and we can show the government that in fact you have been compliant with your CISA obligations and therefore will derive the benefits of those legal protections. If you have an insurance claim right through this portal, you can go out to the insurance carrier who provides all support for the insurance claims that you might have. So now I'm going to turn it over to Jeff a little bit, who will talk a little bit about our support to our channels. We have a real resource-rich library of sales tools, everything from how to leave a great email and voicemail to sales scripts to content that can be created on demand if you have specific needs. Jeff, can you talk a little bit about this? So you'll find inside of the Vendasta library all sorts of sales collateral, from content creation to sales collateral that you might need. We help you understand how to prospect. What are the types of targets that you will ideally sell to, right? So some examples of this is, your biggest competitor obtained all of your customer information. What would that do to your organization? What would happen if you're faced with $50,000 in fines and another $50,000 in to rebuild your IT infrastructure? These are qualifying questions that our sales partners can walk through a potential prospect to qualify them if needed. And in addition to that, we are creating an ever-growing frequently asked questions resource so that you can access as many questions and answers as you hopefully will need to be able to effectively sell into your client base. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about the economics of this. So the product is offered at $39.95 to the public. The wholesale price through Vendasta is $14.95. So there's a nice revenue share model that's delivered to the Vendasta community. And as I told you, what we have found to date is that customers stay on the system once they're on. We have found actually in some of our market research, similar like products like LifeLock, the average person stays on the system for almost 8 years. So you can see how this can be an opportunity to have long-term, recurring, repeatable revenue stream within your business model. The wholesale is $16.95. I'm sorry, guys. Yep, sorry about that. So it's $16.95. I'm sorry about the error. So let's just talk a little bit about who we are and who you would be partnering with. So all of the executives within the company were business owners who had small businesses. We understand the challenges and the sacrifice that are made to build these businesses. All of us have experience in the cybersecurity community in various different parts of that large marketplace. And we're really passionate about the idea of taking what we've learned over the years and shrink wrapping world-class solutions so that small businesses can access what large businesses take for granted. What you'll find is most cybersecurity solutions are designed for large organizations, and the smaller ones, even though based on the stats I gave you at the beginning of the presentation, it is almost an inevitability that we all will have a cyber incident that we will need to deal with. They're left with virtually no tools to address that and to remediate the problem. So again, I'd like to thank you all for taking some time and getting exposed to the CyberSafe product. We look forward to working with you and helping you and supporting you in the field. At this point, Erica, I'll turn it back to you for, I assume, questions.
Okay, perfect. We do have a couple of questions to answer here. So the first one, in order to qualify for the insurance, do you need to perform actions beyond just subscribing to the monthly fee?
No, so this is an embedded product specifically designed for this. There is no underwriting analysis. Simply by becoming a member, you have now automatically become protected by the cyber policy. There's nothing else you need to do other than when, in fact, you need to activate that account, that policy. You will need to reach out directly to the insurance provider, but inside our portal is all those tools and available.
Okay, great. Thank you. And then our second question we have is, who would be the ideal purchaser of this product? So within what industry, which businesses would this product be best for?
Yeah, so what you'll find as you start to educate yourself about this market around information sharing is most information sharing organizations are verticalized. Right, so they're on each of the verticals inside of the U.S. economy. We have made a conscious decision to be horizontal. There is no vertical that is not a good candidate. Rather, we're more focused on the size. of the organization, because we know that our services and the level of sophistication of what we're providing is different than what maybe someone at a Fortune 50 company would be looking for. So any horizontal market, we have everything from auto dealerships to healthcare providers, to accounting firms, to you name it. And you really are not limited by the vertical.
Okay, great. Okay. How is this integrated into a business enterprise? Is this tied into their in-house servers, their external website, or how is this intertwined throughout their systems?
Great question, right? So there's two parts of this I want to make sure I'm clear on. So first is this is a SaaS in the cloud solution, but it is a little bit different than, let's say, your antivirus systems, right? Where you are embedding technology into your systems themselves, and they are acting on and running their functions in your system. This is completely outside of this. Think of this as a risk mitigation tool, right? So on the proactive side, prior to a breach, what you have access to is a rich library that helps your organization be more aware of risks and helps your employees be more aware of their obligations around cybersecurity. Interestingly enough, the vast majority of cyber breaches last year happened because an employee made a mistake, right? So just educating them through our training videos and our tutorials and documentation is very, very helpful on the proactive side, but it is not integrated into your systems, right? The other side of it on the reactive side is after a breach has happened, then what you need to do is interface inside of our system to, one, make sure that you are up to date and compliant with your obligations with CISA. Our system walks you right through that, and obviously our customer service providers will help you. And in addition to that, activate your insurance policy the way you would activate an insurance policy anywhere else.
Okay, and then we have a couple people wondering what a business's options are if they would like to go over the $100,000 protection that you offer.
Yeah, great question. So we have a partnership with an insurance agency. All they need to do is contact us, and they will, the insurance agency will walk them through additional options beyond this. The beauty of this is a embedded product which can be used either as your primary standalone insurance, if you're a small company you have no cyber insurance, or it can be an umbrella. So you may also have customers that say, oh no, I've already got cyber insurance. Okay, well, you got another $100,000 to protect you financially from a cyber event. But we can certainly help you through our agency. We are not a insurance company, so we would turn you over to them.
Okay, and then do we need to consider state regulations on what the sale of insurance means, since the insurance industry is heavily regulated?
That is a really critical question. So there is, I use the word embedded on purpose. Inside the insurance world, there are products that are specifically designed to be utilized like our insurance component. So what we are doing is actually, it's completely compliant with all insurance regulations. And so since we are not selling insurance, what we are doing is providing our members with automatic membership to an insurance pool, right? There's a distinction there, right? So we also are very careful with compliance with regards to what we say and don't say with regards to insurance. All of our marketing material is vetted by the insurance provider's compliance department prior to going out, and we would extend all of that expertise to a channel partner as well.
Okay, great. And thank you for your very thorough answers. We have one more question here. Is TrustWave a competitor, or are your features similar to their offering?
So it's an extension. I recently did an analysis for a large credit card processing company, and what they have is a tool that protects for PCI cyber liability. And what I did was I created a table of where that product protected people, and then I added another column with where ours took over from there, right? Because their focus was really around PCI, but a corporation, a small business, has other liabilities in the cyber space than just their PCI. Like, what happens if their customer lists are compromised, right? Or their trade secrets, right? There's a lot more that a CEO of a small business, what she needs to think about than just simply the PCI component. So I can put together tables for you on any of the products that you would like to better understand, where they stop and where we either begin or continue on, and how they work together.
Okay, we just got one more question in to clarify. Is SurviveCyber actively determining threats and stopping cyber attacks?
Yeah, that's a great question, right? Because we are not an active defense. You still need other tools. Think of cybersecurity as, it's an onion, right? You need layers to protect yourself. You still need antivirus. You still need potentially password management tools. You still need encryption. All of those things that a good company is thinking about, right? Where most of those vendors fall down is what I was trying to stress at the beginning of our conversation, which is nobody's really focusing on how do I survive after inevitably, even with all these tools, I get compromised, right? So we don't actively defend against. The only area where, though, we are doing something on a proactive level is we have a security operations center where analysts are taking in both private and public data threat feeds, and they are distilling and curating the most important threats for small businesses. So that, in fact, inside of our library or in our curated newsletter or even in an email blast, because there's an immediate need that people need to know about, in that sense, we are taking an active role. But it is different than some of the other tools that I think you were thinking about when you asked the question.
Okay, great. So we don't have any more questions at the moment.
Erica, I do have one thought that's important.
Oh, sure.
I think I think I covered it quickly, but it's really important. So because the Cyber Security Information Sharing Act is a US-based law, this tool is good for any business that is doing business inside the United States. The legal protections do not cross over our borders, right? So it's just here in the United States, but anybody that could potentially have liability here in the United States, it's a great tool to consider.
Okay, perfect. Well, if any of our audience has any questions after the webinar, feel free to reach out to us at marketplace@vendasta.com. But other than that, thank you so much, Greg and Jeff, for walking us through your product and showing us how important it is for small businesses to have post-breach protection with SurviveCyber. And to our audience, thank you for joining this week's Vendasta webinar. Have a great day.
Thank you all.